Hey everyone, it's Jason and welcome to Black Rose Wars Rebirth. This is for the expansion Deadly Mass, which is the 5-6 player expansion. So this allows you to add up to 2 more players to your game if you like to play a 5-6 player expansion, or alternatively, even if you don't, you still only want to play a solo game or a 2 or 3 player game. It gives you extra miniatures to use as the avatar. Or it just gets you 2 extra characters to play as the swap out, as well as extra different colors. So maybe you want to play as one of the other different colors. So that's all that's in this box. It's just the 2 extra characters and their components. So we're going to go ahead and look through all these. So here's the box. So right on the top, we're gonna have it comes in a plastic tray. It does go on top. I already took the tray off. We have 2 brand new boards. We have a yellow and a green. So we have yellow and green components. So these are identical to the other 4 that are in the box, the core box, just now you're going to get 2 more of them. And what's really nice is everything stores in here really good, and we're going to kind of do a quick pop everything out and look at. And then we'll also look at the end of the video how it stores in the core box, in case you'd like to do that instead. We have our token sheets, we have our trophies, our persistence tokens, our traps, our spells, target mage, our activation tokens. We flip them over. We have the other side. So we have our set of tokens. We have our brand new 2 cells. You have 1 for a yellow player and 1 for a green player. I don't think they're any new artwork. I think they're the same as the other ones. And then the back sides, of course, are always identical. But yeah, you get your 2 brand new cells, so if you have that new associated character, you have to try and remember yours is in a different thing. We have our 2 big character cards, which we'll look at a little bit more. We get 2 more reference cards, just so if you're playing up to 6 players, each one has their own reference card. We have our new color cubes for each color. So again, you might want, maybe you don't want to be the purple mage, or you don't want to be the blue mage, or the white mage, or whatever. You can switch over to one of the other 2 colors. Each mage has their 3 spells, which again, we'll look at those a little bit more in depth in a minute. And then we have all of our different bases. So of course we have our large bases for our big evocations, as well as our 3 small ones for our 3 small evocations, and then 1 for your mage. So again, these 2 don't have to necessarily be the yellow or green ones. They can be anything. And then we have our 2 miniatures. I'm going to just do a quick pause here, shuffle all the tokens and stuff in here, and we'll then hop back into the thing. Alright, so here's how everything kind of stores in the box, in case you want to. I don't know why, if you own the core, which has room for this box, why you would keep them in this specifically, but at least it's nice that for people that want to, for whatever reason, they have the option. So a big spot here for the 2 big bases. The 4 small ones do fit in there, but the problem is you have to flip one direction and one upside down. So it's kind of a little bit tedious. All the cubes are in here, and then all your tokens are kind of mixed. So it's like, they're available, they're kind of thing. And then they just have a big empty slot down here for whatever else. So, I don't know what else you want to throw in there. I guess if you get another small expansion of miniatures or whatever, you could drop those guys in there. And there's an extra big room under there as well. So you could always put some tokens in there, some in there, or drop however you want. I suppose you could do is drop all these guys in here instead. And then use this for all your tokens. And you could drop all your tokens in there. The only thing, though, is I wonder how much of a pain they're going to be to get out of there. That would be the only issue you would have with that. But at least there's different options for you to do if you want. Again, get some extra expansions. Little miniature expansions you might be able to drop some there, or promo cards or whatever, you could drop them in there. We're going to go ahead and look at the characters and their spells, and then we'll hop back in and look at what they look like in the core box. As an example. So let's just look at, because we only got a couple of characters, we only got 2 characters here. So we're going to just jump in. I'm going to zoom my camera down a little bit more here. So we're going to start with Sefu. So if you remember from watching the core box, there were 6 different spell books, or grimoires, libraries, however you want to call them. 6 different spell classes. And each one of the 4 mages from the core set kind of fit into a theming for each one. And then the last 2 would have been themed, which was alchemic and shamanic, which kind of like were green and yellow-ish colored spells. We're going to work better with these 2 characters. So Sifu, I'm going to guess, is probably our shamanic one. So 10, 8, 2, 2, and 2. So again, I think these guys, their health and their stuff stay very much the same. He has a little bit more hand drawing, he has a little bit less health, and then some of the other characters. But they all still have 2 attack, 2 move, 2 quests. So I think that stays the same for all of the characters. Back stays the same. He gets his 3 copies of his signature spell, Mask of the World. So it's a contingency which targets himself. It's persistent. Each time you solve a quest, gain a rose. Each time you solve a quest, draw a quest from its current moon deck. So again, he's supposed to be based on the shamanic one, which is one that didn't have attacking spells. So that's the idea. He's trying to help focus on completing quests. On his other side, he has another contingency. It targets a room 2 space where it says place 2 instability to gain a rose. So he's again just trying to focus on either completing quests or gaining instability to gain extra points. Cool. Then let's look at his miniature here. Oh, here's his miniature. Yeah, it's kind of like a little voodoo-ish shaman vibe. Tribal type thing. A little cool cape, a little like totem faces all over. Very cool. Alright, and then as long as we're looking at that, let's just look at our other character. We have Angela. Who I want to say... Am I thinking right? Maybe I'm not. I'm just going to say, I think the story-wise, I'm wondering if she's related, if she's like Rebecca's sister. I might be wrong on that. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, which I frankly don't sound like I know what I'm talking about either, is that all of the games from this company are in the same world. So Rebecca is a character who's from the original Black Rose Wars. Then she makes a reappearance in this set in a different expansion, which I'm not going to talk about right now. But she's also appeared in some of the other games as well. Same thing as another character we're going to get in the expansion called Jukas, who's appeared in multiple games. So like each game in this company's franchise, all their different games, they take place, some of them take place in the same time period. So this one takes same time period as like Nova, Arcus, Renaissance. There's a couple other, in Requiem of Magic, which is also another newer game coming out. They take place at the same time or roughly the same time period. Some games take place in the past, games take place in the future, but it's the same world, same timeline. Some characters are referenced or mentioned from game to game, which is really cool. So she goes a little bit the other direction for her stats. She has 11 and 7, so she gets extra health but less cards in her hand. But she's going to probably be the alchemic character. So she has Emet. This is going to be so interesting. So she continues to summon a Negrito. So that's cool. She's a way to summon those guys. Enhancements. If you have a fire and a earth, one of your constructs activates as +1 attack and +1 movement. So yeah, she's going to play around with having them, the alchemy one, have more different things like that. Having different spells or different classes or different elements. So she's going to get that built right into hers. If we flip over to her dark side, she has target in evocation. So target one of your constructs and put 2 damage on 0 space from the target. Place 3 instability on 0 space from target. Remove the construct. So basically, get your construct wherever you need it to go, and then do some damage and get some instability from it. So pretty neat. And what's also really fun about stuff like this is because I think Negrito, and then there is the Albedo, which you can get with a Forgotten Spell, are the 2 constructs in the set. But if you buy more expansions and promos and older set, if you get like just stuff from the first game you can use in this, you're gonna have more constructs, so the construct becomes a bigger thing to get. Awesome. So we're gonna do another little quick pause here for a sec. I'm gonna set up the stuff, see how it fits into the core box. Alright, so before we hop into the box here, we do have a little booklet here that came with it. It just shows everything it comes with. He's just showing us all its different pieces, all the different bases, all that stuff. But I didn't want to show those off. It does show how to set the game up to 4 players. Just swap them out. They can be picked as any other character. If you want to play with 5 or 6 players, it's just showing how to reset up the map. Interesting enough, though, again, you're just going to notice it does show just like the idea of this is show the black roses in the center, and then where the mages go. The rest of it, the rooms are all random, but there has to be a throne room, which they don't show on here. That's all they really have on there. There's all the awesome people that work on the game. So I want to mention one thing about this box here. I was trying to take these cubes out of here. That's the most struggling thing. I was like pulling them out, like barely getting like 1, maybe 2 out at a time. That was frustrating. And then even when I had all my tokens mixed in here, again, if you had to look for a specific token with all of them mixed together, that would be a pain. Although if I would do it, I would almost have just, it would make almost more sense. Like dump your green tokens in one, yellow tokens in the other, and then dump like your cubes like in one of these bigger spots or whatever, so you can easily reach it and grab it if you're gonna keep this. That's at least my thoughts on it. Drop that cover back on there. But yeah, so now that we have that in the core set, so if we look at the core box here, really big starting. We have our avatar board, our power boards, our event boards that sit on the top along with the instructions. You can keep these right in there too if you'd like to keep that for whatever reason. Then if we pull out our first box, which is the main one, it's just going to have all our tokens in there. But yeah, so now we have spot for our green ones and our yellow ones, which would have been there. But these are a lot nicer because you just pull right out. Playing as a yellow player, you just grab your own personal thing. You have your things when you need them. You don't need them, you can pop them back in here. Cubes, a lot easier to grab out of there. Like, if I need to grab 1 or 2, can kind of slide up the sides. All your tokens are right here. Maybe not as easier to kind of grab out. You're still going to have to search through them, but there's not really any way around that. I have a spot for the extra 2 miniatures in there as well. The only thing I even said in the core box when I was even talking about this is I didn't like about this is now because you have all 6 of those, your avatar stuff has nowhere to go. Now, granted, the avatar probably doesn't need much stuff very often, which is fine. But here's all your tokens for like your black rose, your trophy, and all your moon dice and all that stuff. Now I have all my cubes in here, so it's like, okay, well, I gotta take out all the avatar stuff regardless, because I have to be able to get to the cubes every time for black rose. So it almost would have been nice if they had like if they would have made like another little extra, just made it a little bit wider, had one more extra thing like this just for the avatar stuff and the black rose, can you just pull that out and have that kind of set aside as well out of the way. Or found somewhere different to put these guys, had another tray just so the avatar bases, which if you're not playing with the avatar, are pointless. You can have them out of the way. But again, sometimes that's just very minor stuff, not game breaking. If you intend to never play with the avatar, you can just take them out and not even have them in there. So we have our second tray, which is all the rest of our miniatures, so nothing new there. And then we have our final tray, which won't come out of the box because there's all our cards, but we have our 2 big boards on here, which fit in really nice with all the rest of them. And if we pop that out, we have our extra 2 cells, which I have sitting on top of the rest of them, which sit in there very nice. I don't think there's really any more room for any other ones. But then we put our spells back down here, which again, if we sleeve these, we probably have enough room for those. And if I kind of rotate this around, you kind of see like, okay, now I have my 2 extra character cards there. Now there's room in here for more character cards. That's probably just for maybe if you want to have the expansion stuff, same thing like the spell cards. Again, I don't know if this will hold all the expansion spell decks, because there's only so much room. Like, once you start sleeving these, you start adding one or two more spell decks. It might not go, but it should be enough to at least hold all of the probably all the miniature cards. When they're sleeved, we'll eventually go rebox when we sleeve all these, and it should probably hold all of the at least character cards. So you want to have all your characters together. That should at least hold that, and then here's like all your spell books. But yeah, we'll kind of look at that stuff as we go through expansions and that. But yeah, that's what we had for Deadly Masks. So if you're looking at, again, playing with five or six players, and you need some more components for it, or if you want to pick up just two more characters. Also, just a side note for semi 5th, 6th player stuff is they have the duels games. They're out and coming out, Lex and Void, which add two more characters each, as well as some other extra stuff. They have spell decks. They're their own. They have their own game. You can play 2-player versus with them. But yeah, let's add two more characters for each different thing. So if you buy either one of them, you would consider to have their own cells for their own colors and all that stuff as well. So they'll have all their own components. You can actually play them as a 5th and 6th player as well. So if you can't find this when you don't want these two particular characters, you can pick up either of those if you just want the extra two characters. Alright, check out the rest of the videos. See you guys later. Bye.